Hey mom friends, this is Functional Medicine for Moms, where we look at motherhood through the lens of functional medicine. I'm your host, Kelly Moline, a pharmacist with advanced training in functional medicine. From pregnancy and postpartum to everyday parent life, we talk root causes, natural solutions, and real stories from our own family's journey, plus conversations with experts along the way.
I think we are green to go.
Okay. Welcome to another episode of Functional Medicine for Moms. I'm Kelly. I'm a licensed pharmacist, functional medicine consultant, wife, and new mom.
And I am Landon Moline, Kelly's husband and father of our little baby Danielle.
Yeah. So today we have a little bit different episode for you guys. Landon has a list of questions, right?
Yeah, a little Q&A session.
Questions, parenting and lifestyle type questions. So we can give our opinion on these questions, our answers, and maybe talk about how they've changed over time. And we may give more of a crunchy functional medicine type of approach with some of these questions too.
Yeah, I'm not really sure where the questions will lead us, but we will see. I think, our opinions have probably changed on a few of these things, so we can kind of talk about, I guess, the why behind the decisions that we've made, but these are going to be in no way, shape, or form expert advice necessarily, but just kind of our take. And you can do with that what you will.
And we might have different takes, right?
We may. I don't know.
We'll see.
I'm curious.
I don't even know these questions yet, so I'm going to learn
these questions
with you guys. I'm excited though because you wanted to do this Q&A, and you kind of came up with this episode, so I'm just like, I'm here for the ride, and I like podcasts that are Q&A as well, and just like listening what other people want to do, or lots of different types of Q&A type podcasts. But yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, I am curious what you're going to say about some of these things. And some of these things I know what you're going to say, I feel like, but maybe not the why behind it. But other things I'm not really sure. So yeah, I think this is going to be a fun conversation.
And also, I will note before we get into it, sorry for our YouTube watchers. I got a few messages last week like, oh no, we don't have the YouTube video. And yeah, that was on purpose. We're just doing audio again for our episodes with just me and Landon for now. So I apologize for that, but we're still posting to YouTube with the audio and just a picture so that you can still listen on there. But yeah, the YouTube video is still live with the interviews too. So you can still watch there.
Yeah, you just don't get to see Kelly's pretty face.
Well, and Landon's crazy costumes.
I think people can do without that. All right. Well, yeah. So I guess we could talk a little bit about the everyday, or do you just want to jump right into the questions? I mean,
we could talk a little bit about
Danielle
our
has
week.
been sick this week, kind of. I mean, like, she's not very sick, but definitely has congestion and just a runny nose, and it's causing her to wake up a lot in the night. So I am tired. I think you are too. But she wakes up more in the night because she's congested, and I feel like it kind of just like interrupts her breathing a little bit.
Yeah.
And so then we have to get up a few times every night to soothe her back to sleep. And so
this has been her first real cold since she's been alive. So I think that that's all in all pretty good, but I feel for the parents whose babies are sick more often, especially if they're doing daycare. I know when I worked at a daycare in college, I was sick all the time because there's just like snot everywhere. The kids are just, mouthing everything. You can't stop the spread. It just is what it is. So I feel for anyone who does this more often than we do. It's hard.
Yeah, no, we've been pretty fortunate that she hasn't gotten sick a lot, but it's definitely been, I think she doesn't even know like what to do with it because she's never gotten sick before like this, and so it's kind of thrown her for a loop as well. But yeah, it's definitely more, you got to be more hands-on with it and more coddling. I think she just wants to, she's a little more clingy, I guess you could say, when she's sick because she's not feeling well.
Yeah, and we're using like just a wet, warm washcloth to get her nose so it doesn't get so sore with like tissues or paper towels, and even like baby wipes. And she seems to like that more. I know when we worked or when I worked in a daycare, we used baby wipes for like everything for that. So I liked the warm washcloth, and then we're using like the Frida nose sucker, the electronic one, not the one that you like suck as well.
Yeah.
But
I don't
yeah.
think she's a fan of that either.
No, she definitely is not, but it does work well. So I'm glad we have it.
Yeah. No, it's I'm glad we haven't gotten sick in this whole process too, because that would be even more miserable, but definitely more tired, more sleep deprived.
Yeah. But we kind of took turns. This is the weekend. So you got to sleep in a little bit more one day, and this morning I got to sleep in a little bit more. So I am appreciative of that.
Yes, we're tag teaming it and just doing the best we can.
Yeah.
We're surviving this.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
no, yeah. I think she's coming out of it though, so
Yeah.
I think we're on the mend.
For sure.
Yeah. So
Let's get into it, Landon.
all right, let's jump into Q&A. All right. There's different, I don't know if I want to even tell you the topics or the theme behind the questions. I'll just ask the questions.
I like the theme.
You like
if
the
you want to
theme?
do a theme.
Okay. Well, I mean, there's a couple questions from several themes. So first question, I should have numbered these so I knew which one we were on. But first question, it's around feeding and eating. And these are all, I would say, because we have a 1-year-old now, it's kind of like that 1-year-old time frame their
Sure.
questions on. So and I guess it could be anywhere around one. Like it could be later in the 1-year-old stage or before. But
Yeah.
I think
You're
I,
just doing
I
it for
theme
our
these around
period.
Yeah, our period, because this is what we're about to go through. So
Okay.
all right, or this is what we are going through. All right, first question. It's around feeding and eating. Should you let a 1-year-old decide when they're done eating, or encourage like one more bite?
So I definitely grew up with like, okay, 1 more bite or 3 more bites, right? Like I remember that a lot.
I literally remember our parents saying like
3 more.
Yeah, at least 3 more bites, and then you can be done.
Yeah. And this could change. I could see too, like as they get older, because obviously I don't remember what my parents did when I was 12 months old, like what we have. But right now, I think what I'm seeing is like when she's signing all done, for me just to be like, okay, we're good. However, what I am doing, what I catch myself doing is like, but do you want more? Because she has a plate of food, and especially if it's like she's not eating a lot or hasn't eaten a lot for that meal, and I'm like, no, you're gonna be hungry. Do you want more? But I have found that when she starts signing all done, she seems to really be all done, and then she'll start like playing with her food or dropping it on the floor for the dogs or whatever. So I think I need to get better at just being like, okay, you signed all done. And I think it helps them grow confidence in like what they're saying. Like, oh, when I'm signing all done, then my mom will like let me do that, you know? So she knows that what she's getting across, I'm hearing, and that I can respect that. And I think she is in tune to her body more than we know.
Gotcha. Yeah, for me, I definitely, I thought we were going to be more like one more bite on this.
Really?
And but she does seem to know when she is done, when she's not going to eat more, and it's almost a waste because you go, oh, one more bite, like you keep trying. She just throws it on the ground for the dogs.
She does.
So it's a battle. But I have seen though where she might be done with what you're trying to feed her, but she might want something else, like bread or toast, for instance. If we're like trying to feed her eggs, she'll like wave all done to the eggs, but you'll be eating a piece of toast and she'll be like all done with the eggs and then point to the toast like I want that. So it's sometimes like directed, like I am done with what you are trying to give me.
True.
But I want something you're not. And
Because she's getting more opinionated.
Yes. So that's kind of where it's tough, because it's like, well, if she wants the bread, then is she still hungry?
Right.
So like that's kind of where I try to maybe stop trying to feed her the things she's eating, but then see if she wants something else.
So the trouble with that, I've heard, is that like, okay, so if you're just giving them something that you know that they're not loving, or something new, and then you're like, I'll hold on the banana, for instance, until like in case they don't eat, then I'll give the banana second because I know she'll eat that. But then they start learning like, okay, I know something better is coming.
Yeah, they'll hold
so they'll hold out for it.
True. Tricky.
So yeah, so that's where I've heard like offer it together, but it is hard when it's like, okay, I'm offering, eggs and toast and she only wants the toast because I don't want her just to fill up on bread. So I think, but I also want her to know that I'm understanding her and grow confidence in what she's saying. So I think there's like a little bit of give and take where sometimes, we only have so much. So I can be like, well, we're all done with that. So here's what's left.
But like even this morning when I gave her like eggs and toast and like bananas, like she scarfed down the bananas.
Yes,
right away.
time.
So I gave everything at the same time. But then like the toast, she kind of worked on the eggs she left aside. So if you give everything at the same time, she still tends to pick her favorites. So
yeah,
it's a battle. I mean,
and what I've heard with like toddlers, like you're controlling a well-rounded diet and what's available, and they're controlling what they eat and how much they eat. So understanding like the role that you each have can be helpful. But like what I tell your mom, because she kind of came through the same issue, is I don't offer toast and banana at the same meal because she loves them both. She's not going to eat the eggs or anything else you give with her because she's going to get full off of toast and banana. So I offer one or the other and some eggs because then she'll eat it. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. Okay. I think we've spent too much time on that question.
Okay.
Next question. Still around feeding and eating. Should parents limit snack grazing, or is it normal for a 1-year-old to eat throughout the day?
So this is interesting because I don't think we've come to this yet, but
we have puffs and stuff. Like we give her puffs and like
True.
we can give those throughout the day. And I'm like, should we limit that? I don't know.
So I like the idea of you're sitting in your high chair and you're eating a snack. Like even when I did work at a daycare, it was like, okay, sit your bottom on the chair and eat. But when we're running around, we're not eating. We're
running around isn't like in the house or like out.
Yeah, like running around in the house, we're playing, you have the little cup with the snacks in it, because then you end up with snacks everywhere, food on your couches, in your carpet, and all of that. And then there's like more risk for choking and that kind of stuff. And okay, like I think we can focus better when we're like sitting and eating and here's your snack and you can listen to your body, when you're all done. But I also tell that with my adult clients of like, okay, we're not eating when we're doing 3 other tasks or watching TV and stuff if we can help it. Because if you're eating and chewing and you're being slower at it and more conscious about it, then you can like listen to your body rather than you're just like snacking, watching TV the whole time. You're just snacking and then you overate,
So you're essentially trying to create these good habits early on from a young age that even you're teaching your adults now.
Yeah. When it's possible, I understand too, like sometimes we're in a time crunch or something like that. Like sometimes I'm like, should we just like take this on the go because we need to get going. But yeah, if possible, I would say eat, like this is snack time. When you're done, now we can go play.
Oh, okay. That's good to know because I definitely have probably been going against that training. I tend to like when I'm watching her, I'll like, if I'm snacking on something myself or if I'm having like my lunch and she already ate hers or something like that, I'll give her like a puff or I'll give her a piece of it when she's like out playing around me or whatever. So I kind of just hand her things willy-nilly. So it's good that I know you're doing that because I'm not home during the day to see it. And so I didn't know that. So when I'm home, I kind of just like, I do let her graze. So I will probably try not to do that then.
Okay, good to know.
See, look at this. This is productive. We're actually things I didn't know. Okay. And we'll go on to the next question. This is around sleep and routines. Is a strict nap schedule important, or should sleep be flexible at this age?
So I think that when possible, like 80% of the time, having a routine can be really helpful. And I've been on the more flexibility kind of standpoint throughout this past year, and she'll let me know, like listen to her cues and all of that. But for the mom's sanity and for getting stuff done And then also, I think for her, like setting her up for the future, having more of a routine when we can is more helpful, and like offering that same nap at the same time, and whether she takes it or not is up to her again, but at least we're offering it around the same time. Sometimes we're traveling and we can't do that, but for most of the time, especially when we're home, offering that I think would be more helpful for her.
Gotcha.
And for
So
me.
it's more like controlled chaos. Like you're trying to offer the schedule, but it's like a hybrid. So you have a schedule you're trying to put her on as far as napping, especially with like sleep cycles and all that kind of stuff. But if she's just not going down, you're not forcing it. So you're being flexible in that sense, but you're still trying to be on a schedule. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we're all human, so we're not always tired,
Yeah.
whenever we should be. But yeah, I think that's what I've come to. And then whenever we would have another baby, I think I would try to reinforce like more of a nap time each time, especially when we're going to have 2 children, because then, that'll help me plan out my day so much better too.
Yeah. But even then, it's going to be like flexibility is going to be
Right.
super key because, yeah, you can try to get them on the same like nap schedule or something, but it's not always going to work that way. But no, I definitely agree with that. That doesn't surprise your answer doesn't surprise me, but yeah, it's
so same thing is what you're thinking.
No, I mean like that. I think you can't force sleep on some. Like if they're just not sleeping, they're not going to sleep. Just like at night when you put them down. So you could try to create that schedule so they get in a routine. I think routines are important, especially for kids, but for adults too. But yeah, if depending on what you ate or how you're feeling or whatever else, you may not be tired enough to go down. So,
but at what point, when they get older, do you say, okay, now it's bedtime, we're sticking with bedtime, you have to go to bed? Because sometimes she's not tired at 7:30 when I'm trying to put her to sleep, and then she ends up going to sleep around 9 or 9:30. So
that's another
I don't
question.
know.
But
We
I
haven't
don't,
come to that.
Well, I think that one is hard because you want to be strict. Like, nope, it's time. Like you need to go to bed now. But I don't know. I think at this age,
like she doesn't understand.
I think it's still too early to really understand like when she's just like defying like, no, I want to stay up versus like when she's actually tired, But I think right now it's more based on like if she's tired enough to go down or not, or if she's just too wired to go down. So I don't want to just put her in the room to cry for a couple hours, or whatever. So that's kind of where I'm like, well, it doesn't make a lot of sense to be like, nope, this is your bedtime, go to bed, and then have her cry and like just that can't be healthy either. Just
right.
For
and we've talked about crying it out versus not crying it out, right? And we've talked about how we're not pro cry it out. We don't feel good about that. However, I would like to say my take is it's okay to fuss it out, if that makes sense, because sometimes I try to put her down several times, and a lot of times she falls asleep on me, and then I try to put her down, and then she wakes up and she starts crying or fussing. But to me, if she's like fussing for a couple minutes and she ends up going down by herself, that to me is more success versus like, oh no, you cried, let me pick you up right away,
Yeah. So this is actually one of my questions at the end, more like the debatable questions, but we'll just jump to it. I mean, my question was going to be, should a 1-year-old be allowed to self-soothe at night? And I think you just kind of answered that. So basically what we do right now, and I think we're both on the same page as far as this goes, is that if you mean cry it out or self-soothe at night, as in like cry for an hour or like a long period of time, or even like hysterically cry until they fall back asleep, we don't do that. We intervene before that happens. But sometimes when we're putting her down, she'll wake up, she'll fall asleep on you, and then you put her down and she'll wake up and kind of like whine a little bit and fuss. But she'll fuss for maybe 5 minutes max, and then she'll fall back asleep. So sometimes we do wait to see if she actually will just fall back asleep.
Right. And you can tell like if she's escalating or not, or if she's de-escalating.
It kind of builds a little bit, and you'll be like, okay, she's not going to go back down. Then we'll go and intervene and like pick her back up and try to soothe her back to sleep. So that kind of answers that question.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead and wrap up this question.
Okay. And I think just the co-regulation is still needed. She's only 12 months old, so having us be calm and deep breathing and her feeling that and hearing that I think will help her as she ages how to do that herself too.
Yes. Okay, so another question on sleep. Should parents still use a sound machine or begin weaning off of it?
So I heard sound machine until 2-ish.
Okay. I didn't know
So that's, and we were like, when we had her, I'm like, why would we use a sound machine? Then we have to use that all the time. Or she's not used to other noises. But I think I definitely see the benefit. And now we're able to like go to more places, go to my parents' house, use the sound machine too. And I think it's really helpful.
that. Yeah, I saw this question. I was like, oh, that's interesting because we'd never talked about that. And before, my thought process on a sound machine was like, well, if you get her, like, if you get in the habit of using a sound machine, then like, what happens if you're somewhere stranded without a sound machine? She won't be able to go to sleep. I think she's tired enough. She'll go to sleep anywhere.
Yeah.
But we do actually have like a mobile sound machine too that we've used when we've traveled. So that's really convenient. So I don't think it's as big of an issue as I thought it was going to be. So I think you can wean her off of it, but it's not really necessary. And like, so your plan is 2. So I'm good with that.
Yeah. And it is nice, like, when we're doing stuff around the house that she's not, like, jumping awake when we're making a big noise or anything like that.
Yeah, especially with dogs and they bark
Yeah.
and stuff like that. She doesn't get woken up by it. So that's kind of where it's nice to drown out the other noise so she doesn't get startled and wake up.
Hey, really quick before we jump back in, I just want to share this in case it's meant for someone listening right now. If you're a mom who feels like you're just surviving the day, relying on caffeine just to function, or if you've been feeling off in your body, even months or a year postpartum, you are not alone. I also work with women who are trying to prepare their body for their first pregnancy or their next pregnancy and want to do it a natural, proactive way. Through my functional medicine practice, I offer a health analysis appointment where we really take the time to look at your symptoms, your health history, your lifestyle, and decide which labs would actually be helpful for you. That might include things like cortisol and hormone testing, gut health, metabolic health, and more. And all of these labs get shipped directly to your home, so it's very convenient. Once results come in, we walk through them together so you can fully understand what's going on in your body, and we build a personalized supplement and health plan with optional coaching support as well. The goal isn't quick fixes, it's optimizing your health naturally and giving your body what it needs to heal the way it was designed to. If this sounds like something you've been needing, you can find the link in the show notes to learn more or schedule a call. All right, let's jump back in.
So next question. This is on discipline and boundaries. Ooh. Okay. Is ignoring tantrums healthy or harmful?
Ooh, so we haven't really entered the tantrum territory quite yet, but she's like
She's straddling that line.
starting a little bit.
She
Like,
definitely gets upset when she doesn't get her way.
yeah,
And she expresses it. I don't know if it's gotten full-blown tantrum,
no, it
but
hasn't.
it's good to discuss this before it gets there.
Yeah. And I probably need to do more research on this. So what I have done research on is so my point of thought is not to like give the tantrum itself a ton of attention, because like any attention is good attention, or like yell at them for it or anything like that. But when they're having a tantrum, they can't necessarily think. So like understanding that you're not trying to like talk through it when they're having a tantrum and explain something, like explain why you're telling them a certain thing. But you need to, at that point, help them co-regulate. So whether that's holding them and deep breathing or something like that. But also we're not trying to just like distract them either. Like, here's a screen, here's what you want, I don't want to give in to like, oh, you really want the toast and now you're having a meltdown, so here's the toast, because I think that would reinforce you have a meltdown, you get what you want.
Yeah, or on the other side of that, like redirecting them like you're saying and going, you don't want to go, oh, you want the toast? Look at this toy, look at, we're having fun, and like distract them. You want them to basically deal with their emotions and, not necessarily dwell on like, oh, you're like on the toast and not being able to get it, but kind of be like, oh, you're upset, and let's work through that.
Naming it like that,
Calm down.
I see you're frustrated. And I think it sounds kind of silly when we say it, but like naming it in that moment and like, I see you're frustrated, and
Kind of
just,
validating it, addressing it, and
but
then
also naming it because they don't know that feeling yet.
okay, yeah.
Like then they can, as they age, they can really say like, yeah, I'm frustrated. And then knowing what to do when they're frustrated versus I'm having all these big feelings and I don't know what to do with them.
Yeah. Yeah, instead of just when you redirect them or like yeah, I like that. I think if you try to distract them or redirect them, they never fully deal with those emotions, and they might just kind of grow up trying to bury them or just forget about them, and then they still know how to handle it next time they're frustrated. So I think that's good.
Right. And even like keeping it simple like that, or for example, this isn't as much to do with tantrums, but they trip and fall down rather than being like, oh, you're okay, you're okay. Because I think that that can be like kind of confusing, especially as the age of like, well, that hurt, but they're telling me I'm okay. So maybe I should just pretend I'm okay rather than saying that. I've heard just say, oh, you fell down. And now it leaves them room to like feel how they're feeling without being like, oh no, you fell down. Are you hurt? Did that hurt? Are you scared? You know, saying like, oh, you fell down without this big emotion. And then if they cry, you can, you know, help them from there and say that, and just help them cope through it and move on. Otherwise, they may not have a big reaction to it and you can just move on.
Yeah, I usually try to be like put it in a positive, like, whoa, you took a stumble, you took a
Yeah.
tumble, like instead of going, oh no, you know,
Right.
like
Because that reaction
that
can
freaks them out. Yeah,
Right.
and then they're like, oh, I should cry right now, and so
Right.
yeah, just kind of being like not ignoring it or acting like it didn't happen, but more just being like, oh, you fell,
Yeah, exactly.
get back up. Yeah, no, I get that. Okay, next. So this question, I guess the second part to it, we kind of already started going into. Is it okay to say no, or should parents redirect instead? And here's where like we're talking about not redirecting, but not necessarily when it comes to saying no. So.
Sure. So different. So not just because they're having a tantrum. So my take on this is yes, you can say no. However, giving them the alternative. So still redirect. So say no and then redirect, giving them their yes, like what they should do. So for example, I think hitting is like a common one, right? No hitting, but like showing them what to do with their hands that is appropriate, because their impulse control, they don't have impulse control. They're going to give into those impulses over and over and over again. And you're helping guide them what they need to do instead. So it can be frustrating for the parent, but we need to help guide them on what to do.
Yeah. I think this is where, for me, and we might have different opinions on this, for me, I think it's specific to what you're saying no to. So if they're doing something harmful, like hitting, I think saying no and telling them, okay, instead of just saying like, no, don't do that, I think, you know, teaching them what they should be doing with their hands and things like that is important, because then they're like learning a lesson with the no, and you're not just like saying no and leaving them to wonder what they should be doing. So I think that's important. I think when it comes to things like, okay, say they want the toast now, and you say no, I don't think you always have to go in and substitute it with like a puff or something else, some other kind of food, or distract them. I think sometimes it's okay to say no and just let that be the answer. Like, oh, you want more toast? No. And
We're all done.
You know, and that we're all done. And if they get upset with that, you can deal with the emotions like we've already talked about. But I don't think in that case you need to redirect with like something else, because then they're still kind of getting their way, or still kind of getting a yes indirectly, or you're getting something else instead. And then they learn that, oh, well, even if I don't get what I want, I'll still get something else if I just whine and complain or whatever. So that's kind of where I think it depends on what it is.
Yeah, but with something like the toast scenario, maybe they are still hungry, so trying to still, you know, help them, like knowing that they're in control of their body, you know?
Again, that's a situation where it's like, well, if they haven't eaten enough,
Right.
and they just want the toes, like, then I guess you're not like redirecting. You're more like, well, it is still like supper time. Like, you are still like, we're gonna still give you food. You might not get the thing you want, but yeah, I guess in that sense, I guess I'm more acting like if there's like a snack that they want in particular, and it's not like supper time or snack time, whatever else.
Yeah.
Saying no is
Or
okay.
like when you're out and about and they really want a toy and you're not going to buy them the toy.
Exactly. Yes.
And you're not necessarily saying, well, you can't have that toy, but I'll give you this toy.
Yeah.
We're leaving.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. Next question.
Should this be the last question?
Am I going too long? I mean, yeah, we can. Okay.
We're going to try to cut these episodes a little bit shorter. So,
Okay, I'll save the rest of questions for another day then.
yeah.
Okay.
Pick a good one.
Oh, well, I can pick a good one now. I have so many. I have quite a few left. Let me see here. Okay. We'll do one more section left. Around like parenting identity and like mental load.
Okay.
Should parents feel guilty for wanting alone time?
No, I don't think
That was
that
a
they
quick answer. Okay.
should feel guilty for that. But still understanding like the other parent because sometimes you do feel selfish of like, okay, I need this, but we also need that for our mental sanity. But knowing that the other parent also needs that mental sanity, right? And trying to keep it somewhat fair in that sense. Like if I'm like, no, Landon, I need my alone time, but I never give you your alone time, or something like that. Or I say, I just need my alone time. And then I'm sitting on the couch alone, scrolling while I let you handle everything. Like that's not necessarily fair. So yeah, I think that alone time is good, but I think planning it out can help both parents know where we have expectations and so that we both get that time too.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, you answered a little differently than I thought, but I think in general, I don't think you should feel guilty for wanting alone time. I think it's important to get alone time. I think especially for the mom, I've seen like you can just get overstimulated with like breastfeeding and everything else, and sometimes you just need to decompress, especially if you're a stay-at-home mom, like, and I'm at work all day. And so, I mean, I'm not alone, but I'm at work working. So if I come home
You
and
don't
you're
have
like,
someone touching you
I don't have
all the
someone
time.
touching you, like, yeah. I mean, when I watch her for the day, like I can definitely see where like it gets exhausting, and sometimes you just need to decompress and kind of like, even if it's for 30 minutes or an hour, like just to kind of like, like, and sometimes you'll just like, okay, I need to go just like lay down for like 30 minutes. And I'm like, okay, yeah, sure. Like, I don't think you should feel guilty for that. I mean, it's a full-time job, and it's constant, and kids are a little needy, and that's just how it is. So I think you should never feel guilty for wanting alone time. It doesn't make you a bad parent. So that's my opinion on that. I think we're aligned in that. But the other part to that, I guess, question number 2 on that same section is it okay to prioritize your marriage or relationship over kid time sometimes?
Yes, I agree. Or yes, I would say yes to that, because having a mom and dad that love each other and that can model that relationship for the child, I think is what everyone wants, even if they're not in that situation. I think everyone wants that to some extent. And so being able to prioritize that, you say like besides just like family time, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, like prioritizing over kid time. So like, I'm just not saying over family time. I'm saying like just prioritizing just you and your significant other over like trying to constantly include the kid in that.
Sure. Yeah. And for example, too, like when we go out to eat, and sometimes, like you've made the comment, oh, well, we can just bring her with because she is really easy when we go out. And I agree, like she can be pretty simple, but I'm still always like either feeding her, holding her, talking to her, keeping her entertained at some point. But when it's just you and me, like we're having a different kind of conversation, and I don't have to have half of my attention to someone else. So I see a difference between us 3 going out to eat versus just you and me.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think when you go out with the baby, I think anytime the baby's in the room, in general, I think it kind of dominates your attention, both me and you. Like, it just kind of, they kind of control not control, but I mean,
Well, they deserve that attention.
yeah, I mean,
We're not ignoring her.
like, they have the room is what I'm trying to say. Like, as far as like theater or whatever, like, they are the center of our attention most time, and rightly so. And so I think when we bring them with, even when we go out to eat, it's not like we're not going on a date necessarily. It's a family meal. It's a family date, which are fun and important too. And I think there's definitely a time for them. But I think, to answer that question, I think yes, it's super important. It's, I would say, encouraged. Not even just okay. It's encouraged to prioritize your marriage and relationship over kid time sometimes, because yes, like you said, I think the best thing you can do for your kid is give them a picture of what a healthy, loving relationship is. And I think, for one, you want them, like, growing up secure in the fact that, like, their parents love each other and they're a team looking after you, but it also gives them a clear picture of, like, what they would want any future relationships of their own to look like. And so I think the closer you are with your partner, and more connected and on the same page that you are with your partner, the better parents you're going to be as a team to your kid. And so I think it's good to have that one-on-one time apart from the kid, so that you can kind of reconnect, because I think it's very easy to get lost in parenthood and,
And then become roommates.
And just kind of co-parent versus like really connecting and having that emotional bond and stuff like that. So I think it's encouraged.
And we've talked about, like, doing Wednesday night date nights. And this last Wednesday, we talked about, like, having every other, let's go out and have dinner and have, like, your mom put her to bed, because when we have been going out, we've been doing it at like 8 p.m. when she's already in bed. Well, now I'm, like, really tired and stuff too, because then we're out until 10 or so. And I don't stay up that late, especially if I have to get up in the middle of the night and then wake up at 7.
Well, the middle of the week's hard for me too, because I go to work the next day.
Yeah, like, exactly. So I think we're going to try to do every other. And when we do go out, have your mom put her to bed if your mom is available to do that. And then we can go out a little bit earlier. And then the other weeks we stay in, watch a movie, but still, like, prioritizing that time, make it fun, have popcorn, whatever.
Yep. All right. So I think that we'll end it there. We'll wrap it up with a dad joke.
Okay, great.
Okay. What do you call people who sleep in their socks?
Weirdos.
Tiny.
I don't get it. What? Oh, because they're small enough to fit in a sock?
Yeah. Okay. That didn't land very well.
They're like a mouse.
I had another one about pizza, but it was just too cheesy.
Haha. I got that one.
Bonus. All right. We will end it there.
But thank you guys for listening. And don't forget to subscribe, and please share with a mom friend. Send it to them who would also like our podcast, whether they're new parents or more into the holistic, crunchy lifestyle, want to learn more about their bodies or anything like that. Those are all things that we cover. And next week, I'm having a chiropractor talk about the nervous system, talk about pregnancy, postpartum, babies with chiropractic, why you would need that, all of that.
Sounds very interesting.
Yeah.
Give it a listen. And hey, when you're out there, you might as well give us a 5-star review as well.
Yeah.
Wherever you listen to your podcast. So.
Yeah, so that more people can find us, and DM me if you have any questions, or if you like today's podcast, please let me know. And if you have other, parenting debates, that type of stuff, I liked this episode, so we could definitely do more of that too.
Yeah, if you like Q&A, let us know, because we could do more of this.
Yeah. So, yeah, okay.
All right.
Bye. Thanks so much for listening to my podcast, Functional Medicine for Moms. If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure to subscribe so you never miss one, leave a quick 5-star review, and share it with your mom friends who love it too. I'm Kelly with a background as a pharmacist and training in functional medicine. I help women move past fatigue, brain fog, gut issues, and hormone struggles so they can thrive in everyday life or prepare for a healthy pregnancy. Through lab testing, personalized supplements, and functional medicine coaching, I help you feel better, faster, naturally. Want to connect more? Head over to MolineMethod.com or come hang out with me on Instagram and YouTube at Functional Medicine for Moms. On my site, you can order professional grade supplements at my discount or book a free discovery call if you'd like to see how we can work together on your health. This podcast is for educational purposes only and not medical advice. Always talk to your provider before making changes to your health plan. And remember, healthy moms raise healthy families. Catch you next time. New episodes released every Wednesday.